And I'm back for
Excellent.
episode 15. Episode 15, and this is where Quarantine Conversations goes international now with my main man, Steve Levy from England. I had the pleasure of meeting this brother in Canada at the Toronto Black Film Festival he had a beautiful film there called EPIPHANY, a marvelous film about redemption, and I'll let him get into it. But welcome to the Quarantine Conversation, Steve. What's good with you on the other side of the world? Right now, first of all, it's late. What time is it?
It is 10 o'clock UK time, and it's a pleasure to be invited on your show. I'm absolutely, ecstatic. So thank you very much for that. In the UK, we're very similar to the US. We're all on lockdown. We cannot go out unless we're key workers, which is like nurses and doctors. And we can only go out once a day for jogging and essential goods. So we're all on lockdown and we're all following the government guidelines. So it's quite strange. It's quite strange for us. It's never happened in our lifetime. So, but yeah, we're getting through it. So which is good.
And I know that, a lot of people have been affected by COVID 19 and the coronavirus, namely, or I guess right now, most notably, the leader, Boris Johnson.
That's right.
We only get little clips of it on the news that he's okay or he's improving, and it doesn't really matter whether or not he believed in it or not.
Yeah.
But how is his leadership affecting this quarantine, and was his response even on it?
His response was immediate. Yes, he was on it. There was nothing that he kind of held back on. He took it seriously from the get-go. He's actually now intensive care. But it's kind of, even though you might hear kind of disjointed news, we sometimes hear disjointed news, even though this is our country. We hear that now he's in intensive care, and you hear that he's kind of okay, but he's actually in intensive care, and nobody's actually given us any other, reason to believe that he's not still in a serious condition. But he was on it straight away, and he made his appeal. He did a video straight to the nation, made an appeal, told everybody, this is what you've got to do. You've got to stay inside to make sure it doesn't spread. And everybody is kind of, there's a few rogue individuals like you probably have everywhere, who haven't actually kind of abided by the government rules. We also got a letter. So the whole nation got a letter from the government outlining what we should do, why we should do it. And everybody kind of, just pulling together. And that's what it's about. As a nation, we're pulling together. And as a global nation, we need to pull together to fight this.
I'm glad that you brought up that you have some rogue individuals. I think in America, we have more than rogue individuals. We have rogue leaders. We have governors of states that are not really abiding by or even being proactive about trying to protect their populations. And then when it does hit their, states, they're putting it off or blaming it on other states. And
of course,
it's still very, very political here. Do you find that people are political about the coronavirus, or are they? I mean, I heard you say that they're taking it seriously, but are they under the guise that it's a political sort of hoax or whatever?
Yeah, I think as a nation, because we're basically just an island, in comparison to the States, we're just an island. So there isn't many of us really. So there isn't much rivalry, only we've got the different political parties. But for this common thing, this disease is about our humanity and about us. So everybody's pulling together. There is no rivalry. Everybody's saying this is what you should do, and everybody should follow it. So you can see there is cohesiveness within the government in the UK. That's what I feel.
That's awesome. That's actually the way it should be here. But
yes, that's right.
of course, as I heard it recently, I think on episode 5 or 6 with that brother Jamal Hodge.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jamal Hodge, by the way, the great director, horror writer. But Jamal Hodge said to me recently that, yeah, we're currently being led by the guy from Apprentice,
Oh,
the TV show. So
yeah.
go, go figure. I mean, it is what it is.
Can't say it yet. Can't say any more than that.
It is what it is.
It is.
Um, are we? So we just got this news yesterday, and it was sort of understood. I don't know if it was understood, but it was sort of creeping along
Yeah.
that black people in the United States are being more affected by coronavirus than any other segment of people.
Okay.
And they're ratcheting it up to comorbidity, other diseases that we have, like diabetes, high blood pressure,
Yeah.
sickle cell, other
Okay.
breathing, and obesity. Have you
Yeah.
gotten that kind of feedback from in the UK yet?
We haven't. They haven't actually, even on, like, we get lots of feeds through social media, even from my social media, through my WhatsApps, through my Instagram. We haven't really got that kind of, angle on it at the moment. It just seems to be, we're just one people. That's what there hasn't been that yet. I haven't come across it. Maybe I just haven't come across it. Could be, but I haven't heard it in the news, and it hasn't been kind of prominent at all in any kind of communication. So yeah, we're kind of all equal. That's what it feels like. Where there's an enemy, and we're all fighting the enemy together. They're not dividing us, which in some other cases possibly our country does that in some other form, but not under this threat at all. It seems like we're kind of really united, so which is a good thing.
That is a good thing. Nevertheless, that news is startling, given the number of the population ratio. Black people aren't the majority of people, but yet we are more affected by this disease than other populations. So I just thought, and this news came out in a press conference yesterday with the president and his team, and then it was sort of seconded by smaller groups, the governors, Governor Cuomo in New York, Governor Murphy in New Jersey, have also seconded that. And so it's just a little disturbing, and I was wondering if that was happening
in the UK. They haven't really broken it down into stats. So what they've done is basically generalized population. They haven't actually kind of given us detailed information. So, because we're a multicultural society, they haven't really broken it down into that. It's not politically correct to be able to do that, and they wouldn't do that. So yeah.
Right. I hear you. I love it. Are you where are you at with work right now? I know that you're a prolific writer and director, and as I mentioned at the top of this program, your film Epiphany really made an impact on me at the Toronto Black Film Festival, and then I think more importantly, it really touch the audience, which is probably why we do what we do. Where are you at right now with projects, writing, and were you working on anything when the lockdown came into effect?
Yeah, so with Epiphany's now done its festival run, so it's been on the festival circuit for like 18 months. So I thought, you know what, I've got enough budget to get it on the festival circuit. So now it's done its festival run. I'm working on either turning it into a feature film or into a series. I'm kind of toying in between what I should do. So I'm kind of really now looking at the finance aspect of it, really. And that's really the bottom line. So more from a business perspective. So when you do a short film, okay, it's a passion. You want to get a message out there. You use your own money. But now I have to kind of learn some new skills when it comes to business. I really want this to do really well. And I really need to kind of acquire new skills. So I'm taking Epiphany as a slow burner. But I do have a couple of projects, really, really good ones that I'm working on. So I'll be doing my first documentary as well. So I've got a documentary. I met a young lady who I work with in the corporate and she is a Sikh powerlifter. She is literally a 24-year-old powerlifter, and she can lift weights, and she's a Commonwealth champion. So I'm now discussions with her about actually tackling and producing a documentary of her life, not a life story, but from 2015 to 2020. It has, when she told me her story, it was really, really exciting. She comes from a family or a culture that it's not known for women to lift weights. Women cannot lift weights. That's full stop, period. But her mum and dad raised her up to be a champion. So I'm taking that on board as well. So I'm really excited about that particular project. So that, because it's a documentary, it's kind of in real time. So it's going to take a lot, especially now with the lockdown. It's more about doing the kind of the groundwork. So I'm doing a lot of the groundwork on that as well. And also I'm working on another short film, which I've already written with a co-written with another director. And that's already done. It's all done. But we had some finance promised to us. And now when this lockdown came, it's kind of, we don't see the money, you know. It's like, you know, it's like people promise you money and you're waiting for it to come through. So we're going to self-finance it ourselves, probably through a bit of crowdfunding as well. But there's lots of good stuff happening, to be honest. I think since, you know, finishing the film and all the feedback that I get from individuals, I get lots of emails of people just wanting me to help them, give them advice. How did you start making your first short film? What did you do? What was your pitfall? Same thing that we did when we was in Toronto and we had the panel discussions. That for me was absolutely amazing, just to hear feedback from other, you know, directors and producers. So that's where I'm at the moment. It's just working on those few projects, but I'm really excited. So for me, the quarantine and the lockdown period is time to be creative and get your stuff done. So I've got this famous quote, which is, success always happens when preparation meets opportunity. And this is the time to prepare. And that's all.
Woo! Fire. Lick shot. Pow, pow. You know, I spoke to Michael Pickney, Michael Boogie Vision Pickney, who is a renowned director and writer here in the States. He's in Brooklyn, actually.
Yeah.
And he said something that you just touched on, which was trying to learn a new aspect of the business. Because what has happened here essentially is everything is turned upside down. So the way that we conducted business before is no longer possible. And quite frankly, it's not going to be possible moving forward if you don't evolve through this time period. Then you are going to find difficulty surviving. And for people like us who are, you know, as they say, bout it, you know, you better learn the distribution aspects, the finance aspects, and getting your product and service out into the marketplace and being able to compete and charge market value. Because if you don't, it's going to be very difficult for you to move past this isolation period and this moment of quarantine. And so that brings me to my question, because I hear you working, I see you moving forward with all of your work. What advice do you offer others who are adversely affected by the isolation, the quarantine as it is? A lot of people don't have the same sort of spirit and or moxie. And so what I'm trying to get out of my guests and my co-hosts on this program is, what are the keys to surviving this kind of, you know, devastating event?
See, for me, even though this is a devastating and we're going through uncertain times, there are still advantages in this situation that we're in. And I always, like, I work for a corporate organization and I run a team with motion graphic designers and videographers. And what I said to them yesterday, look, we're going to come out of this. How do you want to come out of this? With your old skills or with some new skills? So this is the time to either develop those new skills or increase your old skills. It is a time you have to take advantage of this time. Because this time, someone said to me today on a call, she said, Because of this quarantine, I've become more creative. I've been forced to become creative. So she's doing a lot more things. So that's what I say to people. My advice is this. This time will never happen again, because it's never happened. You know, sometimes, like, for example, years ago, I was made redundant. So I didn't have any work. But I thought to myself, you know what? This is a blessing. This is never going to happen again, because I'm going to be working again. So what you do in that time is actually develop yourself, learn new skills, understand the business of what you want to do, set some goals, and really stick to them, because this time won't happen again. We'll be back in the rat race. Everybody will be doing the same thing again, and you're going to try and find this time. But this time, for me and for everybody else, this is a blessing. Take this opportunity to develop yourself and move forward, and come out on the other side better than you are on this side. That's my advice.
Amen, brother. Amen. I can't even add anything to that. And, you know, generally I like to keep these short, sweet. We may have exceeded our time together, but for anybody who's watching and wants to learn more about you, Steve, how can we follow you? How can we find you out here in the world?
So Instagram is the kind of social media network that I kind of follow all the time. So you can hit me up on Instagram. My Instagram is quite a long one. So it's epiphany_short_film. But you can DM me, just message me through Instagram, and I will respond, because, as I said, I get lots of people ask me questions, and I'm there. I mean, look, this life is not just about me. It's about what we can give to others. You know, it's good to give, so I'm open to give advice if I can, and if I need to encourage people, then yes, DM me, message me, follow me on my Instagram site, and then I'll follow you back as well. I think it's all about building long-distance connections, overseas connections like yourself as well. So I think that's what it's about. It's all about working together. I said, like with my film, it's not my film, it's our film. I wouldn't have been able to make the film without my cast and my crew. So it's all about everybody collaborative working together, and, you know, everybody together makes things happen. So that's what I would say. DM me, and I'm there for you.
You know, and I'm glad that you brought that up, because that's usually the point where I thank you and then we go on.
Yeah.
But you said something again that's key, and I have to tap into that collaboration.
Yes.
Our industry is so collaborative. And I was speaking to LaQuinn Alexander, who is another writer, director, producer from the States. And she mentioned to me, you know, if anybody's ever been on a film set before, it's not socially distant at all.
No. Yeah, not at all, yeah.
What I heard you say that you've been meeting with people. Talk to me real quickly about how you've been meeting, how you've been proceeding with your work during this time.
Yeah, so we don't use Zoom. We use a thing called Microsoft Teams. So that's how we basically collaborate. So the team platform is exactly the same as Zoom. I mean, it's the same as Skype. So that's the way I've been doing it. And I've been intentional as well. So what I intentionally mean is that I will intentionally phone people and connect with people intentionally. Because I think with the beauty of able to just bump into someone, we don't have that. So you have to be intentional nowadays. You have to make the phone call. You have to set the date in the diary. So I would say to people, be intentional. Connect up with people, even on Instagram. So within my Instagram, if I see that someone's doing some great work, I give them some really, really good detailed comments. And I'll say, let's have a conversation. That's how you do it. So you have to be intentional. Literally, that's how you connect. And that's what I do.
Amen. And again, I would just second that. That is something that I've been doing for several years now, being intentional about my communication with people. If I like you, if I see your work, I'm reaching out to you.
That's right.
But even more so in these last several weeks, this is the birth of this particular format, and this conversation came out of that, because as you can see, I am locked down in an undisclosed location in Florida.
It looks nice though.
And it's hot. I'm sweating and, the whole thing. But in order for me to continue to do what I do, which is one, run a film festival. Two, run a production company. Three, continue to make bridges and build opportunities between all of the different factions within the business. I've got to be intentional. So
Of course.
you reached out to me and said, "Hey, dude, I like that." And I said,
Oh,
"Dude, are you trying to be down?" Because I don't know if I would have asked you. I don't know why, but you know, I'm so glad that you did reach out, because I was like, nah, my brother just reached out to me. I gotta hit him up. Let's do this.
and I'm grateful. I'm really, really grateful. That's why I'm intentional. So I mean, I see what you're doing, and I think it's great. I've watched, you know, a couple of them, and I think it's absolutely great. And your film festival. I'm proud of you that you started your film festival, because you didn't have it at the time, did you? When we was in.
It was in its first year, and we were
Okay.
moving into year two
Right. Okay.
when I met you. So
Yeah.
year one was just us and our movies. You know, I
Yeah.
got, you know, a handful of movies, and I
Yeah.
said, let's have a little festival for our hometown
Yeah.
people, our neighbors and friends and family members who never get to go. They don't get to go to Toronto. They
That's
don't
right.
get to go to Martha's Vineyard. They don't get to see us traveling around the world with these films.
Yeah.
So let's put together our own festival. And
Yeah.
so when I met you, we were really in the hard grind of year two.
Yeah.
And the festival was, I think, several months after I met you.
Yeah.
So we did that. It happened. It exploded. And now going into year three, which for a lot of people is a crucial year for
Yes, it is.
everything, for a
Yes.
lot of
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
we're now, yeah, there we are. We got a worldwide pandemic.
Yeah.
We're isolated. How are we going to be able to congregate if we can only meet in groups of 10? You know, how
Yes.
are we going to do a screening and a talk back and all that? So that's my challenge this year, and this was born out of that to
Wow. Okay.
ensure that no matter what, this doesn't die. This continues to live on, and these
Yeah.
opportunities that
Yeah.
we created in year one and year two continue to flourish. And so that, when you're ready, you send something over to us. We do what we do. We build the audience for you. You come out, you meet them. Everybody loves it. We follow, and we keep the mission going. And so,
Fantastic.
really, brother, it's with people like you and my other friends who have participated in this that give
Yes.
me hope that, okay, we can keep making this happen.
That's right.
So right now we're still trying to figure out what we're going to do with the event itself, but
Yeah.
I mean, we're still planning a physical event. We've already locked in the location, and the theaters are
Oh, fantastic. Good.
everything's good. The only
Yeah.
thing that's not good
Yeah.
is COVID-19. So here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Exactly. But I was going to say, I'm really proud of what you're doing, because I think festivals like you really help the independent filmmaker. Without festivals, we can't get our things shown. We can't get our film shown. So I, take my hat off to you that you're doing a great work out there and continue to do it. I've been following you anyway. I've been secretly following you, but you're doing a great job. So yeah, keep it up.
It's no secret anymore.
Yeah.
I think somebody just learned about it. And so with that being said, I'm going to wrap it up. Again, my man Steve Levy from England, London, right? Are you in London?
Yeah, London. Yeah, London.
I'm saying if you're going to London, make sure you check this brother out.
Definitely.
If you have graphic design work or you have videography work that needs doing, look this brother up. Follow him on Instagram at epiphany_short film, right?
That's right. That's right.
And again, I am Lamar Maxon from the Nonstop Show Group, and that's Nonstop Show Group on Facebook and Instagram, Queen City Film Festival NJ on Facebook, Instagram, and QCFFNJ.com. Love you, brother. I'll talk to you soon. And hopefully we can get a screening of Epiphany short film out here.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Get that going. So we'll talk offline later on and we'll get that
Yeah.
going.
All right, brilliant. Thank you very much.
One love, peace.
Me your money in your face now. He told you to speak.
Let him have it.